I have prepared a tier list of 26 MMORPGs that I've ever played in my entire life. It's been about 20 years, I would say. Somewhere like between 15 and 20, okay? 15 and 20. That I've been playing MMORPGs with people. You can imagine there has been many titles that I've just, you know, logged in, played for a couple of hours or maybe a day, and I was like, you know, and that's pretty much it. So there will be times at which I don't remember much about the game, and I either get your help or I put the game in the brain fart section. So the first thing we want to do is we want to find an MMORPG that is not so good but also not so bad. There is this concept of user stories in development, in software development, and what you use those user story points to be exact is to estimate tasks in reference to each other. So, for example, you have to, I don't know, code the button. You give it like, I don't know, 3 points, and then you have to code a newsletter or navigation or whatever, and then you, in reference to the button, how much more difficult, how much bigger of a task that navigation is. So you can then say, okay, if button is 3, then navigation is 8, okay? And then you pull in another task, and then you now have 2 points of reference, and then you kind of build the estimation based on that. Oh, fuck. Oh, kurwa. Fuck, this peanut butter is really chewy. Holy shit. Let's find a game that was not so good, not so bad. Chat, we have Ultima Online, Tibia, Star Wars The Old Republic, Silkroad Online, of course. We have Rappelz, we have RuneScape, but this is the old school RuneScape, but I just uploaded the old logo for the sake of it, okay? We have New World, we have World of Warcraft, Lineage 2. This is Night Online. Anybody knows? Night Online. Okay. We have MU Online or Mu Online. I don't know how you probably MU Online. We have Helbreath, Guild Wars 1, Lord of the Rings Online, Elden Scrolls Online. We have Archeage, Metin 2. We have Aion, Force Story, Age of Conan, Guild Wars 2, Albion Online, Lost Ark, Throne and Liberty, Final Fantasy XIV, and Corepunk. So Silkroad to me is probably a C game. Okay, I think it's a C game, and the reason why is because, right, the only thing that this game had going for it is this fucking trio system, dude. I've never seen trio system in any game. Honestly, not a single game thought of it, and I think it was great. But beside that, it was like, it was just grind. Like, you literally had quests to bring 600 quest items from one particular mob. And then you would go back, hand it in, and then you would get another quest that says, okay, I still need 400 more. Now that we have a point of reference, right, essentially, we can finally start going game by game. Mu Online, I put it in D. I think Mu Online is worse than Silkroad. It wasn't as fun. It had something with the levels. I don't remember, but I think it was like basically infinite grind. That's it. And it was the isometric game. And I remember playing it for a couple of weeks most. That's it. And I played it only because a friend asked of me. That's it. Ultima Online, dude. So I remember having so much fun in Ultima Online, and I think the best part of it was the community and housing system. Honestly, believe it or not, the game lives now until now. It's totally fine. I think I'm gonna put it in B, because if someone asked me to play Ultima Online again, I would. Now, Tibia. Oh fuck. Okay, I will show you the. This is half jokingly, okay? So this is the only moment I really played Tibia for a joke, for a meme. I never looked at that shit seriously. Dude, by then, I was heavily invested in World of Warcraft, Lineage 2, I was spoiled with Guild Wars 1, and then they showed me this shit. But to be honest, I did pick up Tibia for about 2-3 days at some point, and no. I'm sorry, I would not play Tibia again. Star Wars Republic, so... Let me think. I'm gonna give you a very constructive feedback. And, no. Now we have Rappelz. Rappelz holds a very special place in my heart, because it's not about the game. It's about the reason why we played the game. Our friend Łukasz, he left the crew, left the game, and started playing something called Rappelz. We were mad at him. We let Łukasz play Rappelz for a few weeks. And so Łukasz kept playing. But unknowingly to him, we were playing that game too. And we gave him the head start for a very particular reason. So we could prove to him that no matter the head start that he has on us, we can level faster and beat him. What happened is that at some point in the game, Łukasz was just, you know, farming trolls in a cave or some shit. And then we just run by him, level higher than him, and like, what's up, Łukasz? And believe it or not, he quit that game. And we also deleted the characters, because the mission was complete. Still, it was a good game. It was fun. Like, lots of mobs, lots of locations. I remember the world being quite vast, and yeah, it was a good game back in the day. So I'm gonna put it on the same level as where is it? As the Ultima Online. Chat, next one. So we have RuneScape. We have RuneScape. I'm sorry, no. It just won't happen for me. Nope. Now, New World. Where do we put New World? Because, you see, New World ultimately made me feel happy. I have about 700 hours in this game. And great memories. Because my friends played it, we did stupid shit, we did dungeons, we farmed, we crafted, we decorated houses, and it was genuinely good fun. So, despite the ragged launch, with all the bugs, all the issues with the game, I still had fun. I think it is a 8-year game. Next, we have a big boy. World of Warcraft. And very, very quickly, I need to clarify what it means. Because today, we have 4 versions of World of Warcraft to play with. World of Warcraft, to me, ended with Wrath of the Lich King. So, speaking of World of Warcraft Vanilla, the classic experience, to me, it's the complete opposite to RuneScape, to Tibia. It's here. I'm sorry, it's the best MMORPG experience that has ever existed. Where do we put Lineage? Fuck, this is... Holy shit. I returned to Lineage after my my initial experience multiple times. Lineage 2 was such a fundamental title in my life, in my like MMORPG career, that I'm still listening to soundtrack from the game. It's epic. So when I talk about Lineage 2, I meant the classic version. Again, I only played the game in classic version from like 15 years ago, right? The Chronicle, up to Chronicles 3, I think. Referring to the old version of Lineage 2, I would say it's A. And the reason why is because I would play it again as much as I would play Rappelz or Ultima Online. But because I have spent so much more time in Lineage 2, and I have so much respect for this game, it deserves to be higher than those two. Night Online. Okay, so... There's no way you guys know about Night Online. I'm very conflicted about this game, and it won't be high on the list. I'm telling you right now. It's old game, really old game, dude. So don't hold it against it, you know. Playing this little mage, leaving the main city and going down to farm Abyss gems, and I would use those Abyss gems to get gear and make money and shit. And that's the only thing I remember about this game. But this game right now, it's totally not worth it. There's an opinion on the internet that it just should die. So I'm gonna put this game in here. It's just not worth it. But basically, I do have a vague memory of playing it and enjoying for what it was. Helbreath. it's here. I don't believe it. So Helbreath is a game made in 1999, if I remember. Made in Korea by Korean studio. And it was the first MMORPG that I've ever played, man. There was this like alliance and horde situation. There were blues and there were reds. And we would fight. PvP was on. That's it. You had no fucking choice. But it felt good to play. There was something about it. And it was, yeah, farming those orcs was my all day. It's like the early version of Lineage 2. You would go there and you would just fucking fight them as fuck. You would just kill them in thousands. Yeah, the main boss was Abaddon. And it was this huge head. Like a phantom head that you had to fight for the best gear in the game. To be honest, apart from Lineage 2, this is the game that I actually tried to put my own server up. I actually downloaded server files and tried to set up the server so I could play with my friends. Every time you died, you would drop an item. So imagine having some kind of OP sword and wizard just killing you with blizzard, right? And you could drop that sword. So what you would do, you would buy of people or just farm something called mercury stones. I believe they were mercury stones or some kind of stone that would drop instead every time you died. It was like this extra protection. So anyway, this is a long-winded answer to the question, where do I put it? I think I'm gonna put it to B. The reason being because, again, if someone asked me, I would play it. Next, Guild Wars 1. I mean, if I had somewhere in between, I would put it to there. But there's nothing like A+ here. I think Guild Wars is a great game. It actually has a quite good lore that then plays into what happens in Guild Wars 2. I think I'm gonna keep it in A. All the systems inside the game are fantastic. I used to go crazy on them, like mixing two classes, for example. The number of builds you got out of that game was crazy. It was insane. It's almost like you never knew what you were playing against. To the point we actually had some kind of esport out of it, and you could watch the best teams in the world play against each other. It was really cool. Chat, Lord of the Rings. I replayed it about 4 years ago or 5 years ago when I was streaming for LOLs on my other Polish channel. I don't think I lasted more than 2 hours, and I actually played with a friend. So that's even worse, because had I played alone, I'll probably last 10 minutes. Something was missing in there. I don't know what that was. To me, Lord of the Rings is probably D, man. Elder Scrolls Online. You probably chat know that one. It's a huge game, and the game is genuinely fun. If you're looking for a game that you can play with your forehead or feet while doing something actually meaningful with your hands, and I don't mean fap, then this is the game for you. In this game, you almost can't die. PvE is so fucking easy, so chill, that it's just, I think, great experience for casuals. And plus, lore, to me, is one of the best I've ever seen in any game, including all the dialogues, all the cinematics, all the nuances, all the plot twists. It's actually pretty good game. This game, to me, is easy A tier. Archeage. Hey, Archeage. I have brain fart on this one. Honestly, I can't remember anything. I know I played the game for sure. Sorry, I don't remember enough to make any kind of judgment. I just don't want to hurt the game, or I don't want to praise it too much if it's shit. You know, I just don't remember. Unfortunately, same goes for Metin. Now, the only memory related to Metin 2, this is Metin 2, the 2 is cut off, is that I logged in and there were packs of wolves that attacked me, and I had to smash spacebar to kill them. Aion, dude, I remember Aion was the game that was supposed to drag me away from Lineage 2. It was another game from NCSoft, and they hyped it up so much, but it let me down so much. The only thing that was great about Aion was gliding. Honestly, I would not recommend the game ever. I wouldn't want anyone to play it. It's bad. That's it. Okay, Force Story. Does anyone know this? Force Story is officially a World of Warcraft clone. That's why I played it. Because as a little Timmy, when you're like 13, 14, or even 16 years old, you don't have much money. Unless you scam people online, which is fine. I mean, you gotta make it work. I played it a lot, and I'm gonna keep it into C tier, just for as an appreciation, a token of appreciation for what it was, for what it is, and how it helped me get through the difficult times of my life when I couldn't afford World of Warcraft, the best game ever. Okay, Age of Conan. Okay, who remembers Age of Conan? Come on. Age of Conan was the game that distracted me from World of Warcraft. And Age of Conan was a buy-to-pay game. There wasn't subscription, if I remember right. The only obstacle in playing the game was buying the game. And that was a huge obstacle because this game was expensive for me back then. If I remember right, it was like 120 zloty. It was a very expensive game. And I begged my dad's brother, my uncle, to buy this game for me. Because, little this uncle, this cool dude, used to pay my World of Warcraft subscription too. He was trained to give me money so I could play the game, so I could be addicted a bit more. And Age of Conan was next on the list, And I remember vividly driving up to the game store with him and him buying the game for me. I was so excited, dude. I was like, you couldn't even believe, like, you can't know what it meant to me. But then the game turned out a bit shit, unfortunately. But hey, Age of Conan actually had a good things going for it. For example, I think it was one of the first MMORPGs that was really gore. It was quite bloody and brutal. This game, it was unfinished, bugged as fuck, expensive to buy, and it only had a few things going for it. That to me D tier. I'm sorry. Are you chat ready for Guild Wars fucking 2? Guild Wars 2. I bought it when it launched. Played the shit out of it. Then I took 8 years hiatus and I got back and played another 1,000 hours probably. It's a great game overall. If you are the target audience for a game that doesn't have vertical progression, but enjoy the casual exploration vibes where you can literally be the champion of sniffing flowers. Like, you can be the champion of anything in this game apart from gear progression, okay? I think you will love Guild Wars 2. There is pay to win, obviously, but not to the extent that would disturb the game much. But you can buy shit that save time, and in my opinion, that's already pay to win scale, okay? So Guild Wars 2, to me, that's A tier. It's not S. It's not good enough for me to be S. It is what it is. I'm sorry, chat. Just put World of Warcraft on top, randomize the rest. Where have you been for the past 2 hours? You should have told that me at the beginning. I would have done that. So, Albion Online to me is a great game. It's free to play, but it has the Battle Pass system, which I think is probably one of the best ways to monetize MMORPG right now. A tier. I think this is a A tier game. It's a really good game. If you like PvP, if you like... It's heavy on economic. All the economy is player driven. It has a huge world. It has a great system for islands. Like, you get an island, and this is like your housing in a way. You build farms. You have you invite like merchants onto the island. You create your own home, which is the island, not rather than a building, and it's really fun. I think Albion Online is fantastic. Totally recommend the game. Alliance Christmas jumper is sick, by the way. Thank you so much. I got matching socks. This is my Christmas outfit. Well, we have Lost Ark. It's a pay-to-win beast. And for that, I really didn't like it. I can accept a level of pay-to-win, but this is an extreme. Like, literally, they make you play the game for a few hours and really love it, and then they hit you with pay-to-win wall, and you have one choice. Actually, two choices. Quit the game or pay. You're right. It's a gacha wrapped up in a MMO style. Right. You're right. Like, the boss fights, the systems, they're so great. Like, the world, the combat, like, everything is so good about this game. But this pay to win just destroys it. I'm gonna put it down to 3 more games to go. Throne and Liberty, so I've been playing Throne and Liberty since launch. Chat, what do we think about Throne and Liberty? Because this game started off so great, so powerful, but I don't think it hit the right spot at the end. Throne and Liberty, to me, was really fun while leveling. I know people rushed through leveling just to get to the end game, which was probably, you know, digging their own grave in a way, because the end game is very, very, very repetitive. It's your typical Korean MMO where you fucking grind to death or you pay up, and that's really two choices that you've got. There's system on top of system on top of system that you can shortcut with your wallet, essentially. So up to you how you. There are obviously free-to-play ways to get gear and shit. Totally fine. I mean, there are people who have over 4,000 gear score right now just by being a free player, but maybe they have a little bit more time than I do, so there's no way I can get to that stage. Let's find a point of reference. Is it as good as Guild Wars 2 or New World? I don't think so. I really don't think so. But is it as bad as Ultima Online, Rappelz, or Helbreath? I don't think so. I'm gonna put it in B. I feel very burned out, and the game is good and the game is bad at the same time. I guess maybe it depends on how much you're involved in PvP, because the game has been designed around PvP, and I'm really against PvP in any MMORPGs, so I haven't really been interested in that, and being left with just PvE content in that game, I felt kind of burned out. Like, it's just not much to do, in my opinion. Now, Final Fantasy goes here. That's it. Like, I'm not even gonna dispute that. Like, Final Fantasy at this point is probably the only game that has any chance with World of Warcraft. The game is so fucking huge. Now, lore apparently is just pure cinema, which you can't really say about World of Warcraft anymore. It used to be good, which, I mean, we are thinking about World of Warcraft Classic here, which is fine. But Final Fantasy, man, yeah, S tier, 100%. And now for the final game, chat, final one, we have Corepunk. I found this game because I stream MMORPGs and I deliberately search for new games almost every day. I want to be on top of every announcement, every review, every idea, okay? It's this very old school like MMORPG. It's made by an indie studio in Netherlands, and it has modern parts to it and then old school part to it. So the old school parts are the grind, the chill, the progression. It's very crafting heavy. The gameplay is very slow. The world is extremely immersive. All the dialogues, all the puns. It's difficult as well at the same time. You have to be very wary of your surroundings to not pull too many mobs. So Corepunk is a good game, but I think it's B at best. If you look at Corepunk, maybe I'm gonna put it somewhere here because it's just newer. It's early access, so it's also a bit unfair to compare it to full releases, I guess. But somewhere on the B tier I'll put it. I don't know, it's good enough probably here. So I think this is pretty much where I'm at, chat. So in my entire life, I played 26 MMORPGs. Out of those, 2 I don't really remember. I must have played them for like 10 minutes. So at best they would be D, because that means they didn't leave any impression on me, right? So that's what we're gonna go for. So I'm gonna leave them in the brain fart section. I just zoned out, I don't remember, and they probably weren't any good anyway. If they were, I didn't like them, just like I didn't like Tibia or Runescape, which I know will be a problem with many of you watching, but it's just not my type of the game, and this list is highly subjective. So then we have a New World, Lineage 2, Guild Wars 1 and Guild Wars 2, Elder Scrolls Online and Albion Online as runner-ups. The rest is good. If you want to give them a go, I highly recommend Corepunk. Actually, give it it's buy to play, unfortunately, but it's a good game for old school players that appreciate slow pace and high difficulty in old MMORPGs. Throne and Liberty is fun for the first 2 months, I guess, when you level up, when you learn the systems, when you explore the world, while everything is new, Throne and Liberty is great. You're gonna thoroughly enjoy it. One tip, find the guild as soon as possible. Yeah, if you have any thoughts on the list, then by all means let me know, and I'll be very happy to respond. But that's about it. We can move on.